So I'm here in Park City to try out the car that has the most buzz around it since the Tesla Model 3. This is the Rivian R2. It's an all-electric SUV starting at $48,000. This makes it the most affordable Rivian yet, and really a top competitor to the Tesla Model Y. When I got a Tesla 6 years ago, that was the first time I really just had no more desire to upgrade my car. The Rivian R2 is the first vehicle that's like actually piqued my interest, and I've thought about putting an order in. Part of the reason that I really like Rivian is because they're really focused on autonomous driving. Earlier this year, they announced that their new vehicle, the R2, is going to have LiDAR incorporated, which is what Waymo has, and kind of a big reason why it's able to drive on the roads completely unsupervised. You could say I'm addicted to the full self-driving technology. I just couldn't go back to a car that doesn't have it because it makes my life so much less stressful. So I'm just letting my car do all the work. This morning I'm like, oh yeah, I can drive itself. I realized when I was talking to some friends recently that most people don't realize just how advanced Tesla's full self-driving system is. I use it every time I'm in my car. It's not just on the freeway, it's on surface streets, it's everywhere. It can do pretty much everything, and I don't even have the latest hardware. Once you have this and use it on the daily, it would be really hard to go back to not having it. I just couldn't go back to a car that doesn't have it because it makes my life so much less stressful. I don't mind driving as much. And this is the one thing, is the Rivian self-driving technology as good as Tesla's? So we're gonna see. Right now, before we get into my thoughts and whether or not I would buy this car, I wanted to thank the sponsor of this video, which is Zapier. Zapier is an automation platform. It connects your apps and automates your workflows so that you can really focus on what's actually most important. You can connect things like Slack, Google Drive, Trello, even YouTube, so that they can work together and do tasks for you so you don't have to do them anymore. And there's over 9,000 different apps that you can connect. Let me show you one automation that I've recently done. I wanted an email to automatically send to my video editor after I finish uploading all my files to Google Drive. All right, so here's how I made it. I basically just typed in layman's terms exactly what I wanted. I wanted to send an email notification when all my files are finished uploading on Google Drive. And then it does all the hard work of creating the Zap for me, actually. I just had to add my Gmail and my Google Drive account that I wanted. You can go in and manually edit the Zap if you want it to function differently. I just like to let it do its thing. It's just easier. And then I tested it out by uploading some files to Google Drive, and boom, I got the email. But in theory, I would have this go to an editor. I just wanted to test it with my email. Zapier also has an MCP server so that you can connect AI tools like Claude or ChatGPT, so you can be using Zapier within Claude. So I don't even have to go to Zapier anymore to make the automations. I can just tell Claude what I want, and it's gonna use Zapier to do that and to communicate with everything. If you wanna start automating your workflows, Zapier is free for the first 2 weeks. You don't even have to put in any card info or anything. So I'll have the link below. You can go give it a try. Okay, now let's go see if this car is actually worth buying. So when I'm buying a car, I can't deny that aesthetics do play a big part in what I end up choosing. I'm just not gonna buy a car that I think is ugly. When it comes to the R2, I really like the look of it, interior, exterior. Something about it just feels better to me than a Tesla Model Y. I think it might be because the Model Y feels so similar to the Model 3, but it doesn't feel exciting to go from a Model 3 to a Model Y. It feels like you're just buying the same thing. And I feel like the R2 just feels a little bit bigger, just feels more like a traditional SUV. And I like that. The cool thing about the R2 is it looks so much like the R1S. I don't think the average person would know the difference. Maybe if you have them side by side, but this car is significantly less expensive, but it feels and looks like a very expensive car. Overall, the interior feels roomier than a Model Y because you have more headroom, especially in that second row. It's a good sized trunk. It feels like a little less tall than your typical SUV. I did expect the opening to the trunk to be a bit bigger. I was surprised, I kind of hit my head when I first got in there, but I love this roll down window feature on this back window. So do you guys remember when I went camping in a Tesla? I slept in a Model X and it felt quite claustrophobic because there's this huge thing that goes through the center. You think because that car is an SUV that it's gonna feel roomy, but it kind of doesn't because that big thing for those Falcon doors. But this, you actually have a sunroof. The people who are buying this kind of car actually legitimately would go camping in it. And in fact, they actually made a really cool camping accessory to go on top of the car. I think this might be the coolest accessory you can get for any car. It's called the Treehouse. It is a rooftop camping setup, and it actually has a fan in it. So if you're high maintenance like me, don't worry, there's a fan, there's a reading light, there's like little USB-C ports to charge. It's super cool. There's actually a mattress that you can get with it too, so it's pretty comfy. You know, it's a tight squeeze for 2 people, but you could do it. It's pretty comfy for 1 person. And there's enough like room, like ceiling heights, that it doesn't feel claustrophobic. So there's also this screen for privacy, but you can project onto it at night and watch a movie. And in my opinion, the interior also feels nicer than the more basic Tesla models. There's just more attention to detail. I really like the white interior. The black also looks great. They incorporated these little wheels on the steering wheel, which lets you control a lot of things like the temperature, the music volume, without having to go and look at a touchscreen. I feel like this is the kind of thing it'll take like a little getting used to, but if this is your daily car, it would actually be really nice because you'll have the muscle memory and you won't have to be like kind of taking your eyes off the road and looking at the touchscreen to change like the temperature, for example, which is something I have to do now and I don't like love. There's 2 different displays. There's one right above the steering wheel and then a 15-inch one to the right. And I like the software. I really like the interface, which is important. I find that a lot of the older like legacy car brands, it's just clunky. Like their software sucks, you know? This one, it's got a nice clean interface. I would say it's comparable to Tesla's. It works just as well in my opinion. And I know later on they're going to be adding in an AI assistant, so you can just be like, hey Rivian, what's the temperature outside? Stuff like that. And the car has 11 cameras around it for the autonomous driving features, but they actually let you use them for parking assistance and off-roading assistance. I'm kind of picky about the car interfaces. I want it to just feel like an iPhone, and this one passes the test. It's good. It's intuitive. It looks nice. It's easy to use. It feels like an iPhone. I like that they also added a lot of the fun features that Tesla has too, like YouTube. There's like a pet mode, Apple Music, all that stuff. Now, probably the most important part, testing out the full self-driving technology and just how it drives in general. In my opinion, pretty much all EVs drive the same. They're super fast. They react instantly. The regenerative braking settings are adjustable. For this being a bigger vehicle than what I typically drive, it didn't feel big when I was driving it because you get that instant acceleration that pretty much all EVs have. So we've got the universal hands-free going, and this is nice. I mean, I think they're gonna have it on all the major roads soon. Oh, there's a cop. So this is a must for road trips. Like if you're buying a brand new car today and it doesn't have this feature, what are you doing? I don't know. It's like once you have it, you really can't go back. It just makes it really stress-free. So we got 8 miles where I'm just chilling. So Rivian calls their kind of full self-driving thing universal hands-free. And the thing about it is right now it really only works on the freeway. And I was surprised actually that it also couldn't do one of these turns. It's, oh, sharp curve ahead. Okay, so it's telling me to, like as it turns, it's telling me to take control for this though. So it's not sure. I was surprised it wasn't able to do this turn because there are very clearly painted lines on this road. And this is something a Tesla definitely would be able to do. I've driven my Tesla up the side of a mountain like this before and it could do it with full self-driving. I think the Rivian honestly could do it. They're just probably being extra cautious since it's new and maybe they hadn't mapped out this area yet. When they did their autonomy day, they were giving us test rides where they showed the universal hands-free working on surface streets. They said something about the end of the year having a software update where more of this is going to be available. I actually have high hopes for Rivian's autonomous driving features because they have LiDAR. My Tesla does not have LiDAR, and I think it's possible Rivian could even surpass Tesla's level of autonomous driving, but it's going to take some time. The fact of the matter is it's not better than Tesla's yet. So if I'm being honest, I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't further along, but I do have high hopes for them. And this wouldn't deter me from buying one forever, but personally I do want to wait until that is a little further along. One thing that the R2 already excels at though is off-roading. Rivians really are adventure vehicles and we put it to the test. We drove on some pretty crazy terrain. As someone who has no experience in off-roading, I was a little bit intimidated, but then really quickly realized like, oh, this car is made to handle this. It didn't feel like the car was struggling or at no point did it feel like it was going to get stuck or anything like that. And we were going through little creeks. We were driving over and past quite large rocks. At one point we were tilted about 20 degrees on one side. So here's like a little photo of what that looks like, because I wasn't able to get a good photo outside the car because it would have been kind of dangerous. It's meant to handle these kinds of situations, and I thought I was going to be like super anxious the whole time because I drove for half of this and then I was a passenger for the other half, and honestly I wasn't. I was pretty calm. I was intimidated before starting, but once I started doing it I was like, oh, this car's got it can handle it. This vehicle unlocks just like new destinations you couldn't get to, especially if you're into camping. I like how it gives you all the stats on the screen, like the angle that you're going at, and you can see through the cameras if you're going through somewhere kind of tricky, if you're gonna hit a rock. It just makes it less intimidating if you're new to this like me. Honestly, I'll probably never do anything like this ever again. It's kind of a niche thing. I'm not really into off-roading, but if you have to drive somewhere with like some crazy uneven terrain, or you live somewhere that gets really cold and snowy in the winter, this car can handle quite a lot. So as you've seen, the R2 is pretty cool. I'm impressed with it in a lot of ways, but I'm sure, as you've seen in the title, I'm not putting an order in. And it's not for the reason you think. Like, it's not because it's a bad car. It's because I don't need a new car yet. I would like to get some more years out of my Tesla before I get a new car. I think about sustainability like every single day. I try not to be super wasteful. And one of the most wasteful things you can do is buy a new car when you don't really need it yet. Like, all the parts, all the mining that has to be done for the battery, all of it. It is a huge amount of resources. I mean, it's 6 years old, and I do feel like the culture we live in, where people lease a car and get a new one every 3 years, it's definitely popular where I live to get new cars often, but I just feel like that's kind of wasteful when my car works perfectly fine. Here's the thing, if my car was now at the point where the battery degradation, however you say that word, had taken a really big effect, if it could only drive 120 miles in a day, I would order this car. The second thing really is the full self-driving technology. I was hoping and kind of expecting it to be a little further along, but here's the thing. They did say there's going to be a software update by the end of the year. It's going to be a lot more advanced. So basically, by the time I am ready for a new car, I bet the Rivian self-driving technology is going to be way better. Overall, I do really like the R2. I feel like it's just more stylish than a Model Y. A Model Y is definitely the cheaper option though. You can get one of those for $40,000 and this is almost $50,000. So if you want the cheapest kind of SUV, you'd probably go with the Model Y. But if you want the one that has more of the sporty feel, kind of like a Jeep or a Bronco, the Rivian R2 is a really great option. And I think that the tech is gonna get there. So let me know, what do you guys think of the R2? Do you think it's worth it? Would you consider buying one? That's gonna be it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!